Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. I'm here to tell you about Boll & Branch sheets. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. They're made from the rarest organic cotton and designed to get even softer over time. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee plus 15% off your first order with code Odyssey. So head to BOLLandbranch.com today. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
The following is a GoPowerCat.com and Spirit Street production. You've discovered your link to GoPowerCat.com's Tannahill and Spiller Powercat Podcast, presented by Fridge Wholesale Liquor, and it starts right now. Now, let's go to the WTC Gig-Powered Studios. Here are your hosts, former K-State tight end Travis Tannahill and former Wildcat safety Monte Spiller.
Welcome to this week's Tannahill and Spiller Podcast. A few days after Christmas here. We are we'll kind of just spoil we won't try to pretend like what day of the week it is. Sunday afternoon, Chiefs just had a huge victory to seal, obviously, the playoff home game, the bye week with the Dolphins' loss. So Sunday night, those will probably be airing Monday sometime with the K-State game on Tuesday. So here we are, Monty.
We are, man. A lot of football, a lot of college football going on, like you just said. NFL. I'm a Chiefs fan too, but I'm a Cowboys fan. So my game is going on right now, and I'm hoping my Cowboys can get a win, and the Giants can beat the Eagles, so the Cowboys can back their way into a playoff game. Now, if they do make it to the playoffs, how well they do, I'm not being too hopeful, but you never know. It's football. Everybody has a chance.
For the record, Cowboys fan, is that your team, Cowboys?
That is my team.
I mean, you grew up in Dallas.
Born and raised.
All right. Sounds good. So just for the record, Dallas fan. Yeah, because we were trying to meet up today to meet. I'm like, well, I'd really like to watch this Chiefs game. And you're like, how about 3? I'm like, well, it's probably going to be like 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So how about 3:30? Perfect. Sounds good. So for the record, Monty's Cowboys fan. You don't hate the Chiefs or anything, though?
No, I cheer for the Chiefs as long as they're not playing Dallas. I hate Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. Those guys, they're fun to watch. And actually, being a defensive guy, Tyrann Mathieu, dude, he's like a difference maker, man. Yep.
He has had a good year. He was super fun to watch in college.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously that's Monte Spiller on the other microphone. Didn't do we always forget to do introductions. We just roll right in. We got too much content to cover. Few days after Christmas. First off, Christmas break all good?
It went well.
Get some time off work, eat a lot of food?
I did. We were talking before we started, man. Christmas, don't get me wrong. I love the meaning of Christmas. Faith-wise, family-wise, and then the most important F, food-wise.
Oh, yeah.
So it was good. No complaints. How about you?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I think I had beef 4 days in a row. That was like the only meat I had. I didn't have any like chicken or pork. So it was amazing. Don't answer this if you don't want to, but I'd start the season at about 255. I'd end the season at about 242. I would almost bet I weighed over 270 as of today.
Oh man!
So I mean, and I know it's funny, guys. After they get done playing, they either blow up or shrink down. They're either the guys who had to work their tail off to keep weight on,
right?
Or they're the guys that keep eating like they used to eat and quit burning 4,000 calories a day in workouts. So no need to answer where Monte Spiller's weight at, but just so the audience knows, I am 30 pounds away from three bills.
But you carry it well, man. You carry it well.
Well, appreciate that. But New Year's Eve, back on it. So I'm one of those guys that can, I can go on a diet for a week and we'll shed 20 pounds. So
right.
We'll be back into it.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of New Year's Eve, before we get talking about the Cats, which they're down in Memphis now, I've been kind of watching and following social media. Let's talk about some of the other bowl games, specifically Big 12 and other teams around. The Big 12 right now, we're not looking too good. We got 6 teams in bowl games, and as of today, we're 0-3. The first game, I believe it was Oklahoma State. They played decent. I watched the game, but they just couldn't pull out late. And, it's tough. Bowl season, you never know which team going to show up. Chuba Hubbard, I believe is pronounced. He did well. I know Oklahoma State had some injuries, but, that was one of my hopes of the game. I thought that the Big 12 could win, and we didn't. And then moving on to the Iowa State game, which I know a lot of the K-State fan base had some interest in that game because, me included, a lot of people felt like that should have been us playing Notre Dame rather than Iowa State. And what were your thoughts on that game?
I mean, Notre Dame's a good football team. I think that was probably the thoughts I took away from that. And I knew that going into that. I think they only had 2 losses on the season.
Yeah.
So obviously they don't have a conference, so sometimes they're, who they play is lacking. So not a very good strength of schedule. Still dropped 2 ball games, but I don't know. It's so hard because you want to root for the Big 12.
Yeah.
But when a bowl game jumps you for a team who has a worse record and they lost head-to-head,
yep.
I mean, it makes you it was a little justified. I mean, yeah. I enjoyed it just a little bit.
Yeah, I did. I was cheering for Iowa State because they are the Big 12. But part of me, moving forward, hopefully, and I know it's going to happen because when you look at a lot of the bowl games, it's money, and you can say what you want to say, but it is. But part of me smiles saying, hey, that could have been K-State, and it probably would have been a lot more competitive game and a lot more people traveling to that game. But it is what it is, and hopefully K-State shows up Tuesday against Navy and Memphis for a big game.
Yeah, that Iowa State game was. It's tough for me because, there's probably not a team I dislike more than Notre Dame.
Right.
Like, their fans, their fans bother me. And they haven't really been that good in, 20 years. Mm-hmm. And so, which is almost my whole lifetime, ever since I can remember. So,
yeah.
If Iowa State would have been playing anyone else who I was kind of neutral about, I probably would have been a little more against Iowa State. But since I dislike Notre Dame so much, I was still pulling for those Cyclones. But jumping up to Saturday's games, last Saturday's, the 14 playoff.
Man.
First off, that second game was super entertaining.
Man.
That was super fun.
Yeah, and personally, I was happy for Clemson because Brent Venables, who was a coach here when I was here, former K-State linebacker, Solana product, it's kind of hard not to pull for a local K-State guy and his team, and they've been doing phenomenal. I'm not sure how many games they won in a row, and his defense showed up when they needed to. And then the strong safety or the free safety / linebacker, the hybrid guy, number 11, I can't remember his name for Clemson. He's from Kansas City area. He's just a stud, and I was happy to see him do well.
Simmons, I think. Isaiah Simmons, maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that.
He played well, got an interception in the game,
yep.
But we'll jump back to that second game. Let's move back to the Oklahoma.
Shoot. I was trying to avoid it.
But, and there were – I know one play doesn't make a game, but the tempo of the game, it was a apparent pass interference in the first quarter where it would have gave Oklahoma a first down, and they could have tied the game.
Down.
Yeah,
yep.
And they could have tied the game up. And I'm not saying that LSU would have lost, but it could have been a totally different ball game. And, I'm not wanting to point fingers on officials because that's a job I wouldn't want to do. But when you got 3 guys watching that play, somebody got to make a call.
Yeah, there's multiple eyes on that. And, I get really frustrated at officials because here's just like the players, just like the coaches, just like the guys in the NFL. They are getting – or not the college players. They're not getting paid. But the refs, they're getting paid. And so they are getting paid to do their profession, to do their craft. Mm-hmm. And when they do a poor job,
mm-hmm.
There's just got to be – and I don't know what the consequences are internally. And obviously, if you miss too many bad calls, eventually you probably lose your job. But,
right.
But full disclosure, I am the guy at a high school basketball game ripping refs. Because, I don't know, it's just it just seems like they're so bad.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. And I feel like I can be pretty – non-biased, pretty partial. I can put myself out. There's all the times fans are going crazy. I'm like, that's probably a good call.
Right.
And then the other times, no, everyone wants to no call. That's definitely a foul.
Yeah.
But it's man, how can you be that bad? And I know it's fast, and I know, but that was probably the worst pass interference call I've seen for sure this season, if not in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah, I think it was pretty blatant, and I think the defensive back even he was looking around waiting for the flag to drop, and I think when it didn't, he was kind of like, okay, they're not going to call that on me.
I think what it was a rollout to the right, and the pass was kind of a duck.
It was short.
I mean,
it was short.
It was kind of a duck. I mean, when that ball left his hand, I was like, he threw it out of bounds. Like, just throwing it away. And the next thing you know, it hit the receiver in the leg, in bounds.
Yep.
And the receiver was, tackled.
Yeah.
So, man, that was I agree with you, though. Turning point in the game. Maybe it would have been a competitive first half, and LSU would have pulled away, but definitely, I mean, if I was Lincoln in that situation, I mean, he was livid. He was livid. I might have
probably got a flag.
I would have gotten a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
Mainly because one, I don't know. I'm a big fan of basketball coaches getting technicals on purpose just to fire their team up. I think that's a good motivator, and it actually works. And so I know there's field position at play, and I think they were probably on their own 30, so they would have been punting. They would have gotten the ball at the LSU would have been getting the ball at their own 30 probably, or if you get a penalty, they got the ball at midfield. So, but I always think he was hot, and I don't know if I ever would have gotten over that one.
Yeah, it was a tough call early, but, congrats to LSU. They are probably one of the most complete teams outside of Ohio State and Clemson both. But whoever, and obviously Clemson won the second game. But the winner of that game and LSU is going to be a phenomenal national championship game, and I'm anxious to see who will come out on top with that one. But, a lot of times it's easy to look back on your season and feel like it was a failure because you do lose your bowl game or you do lose the playoffs game. And one of the announcers made a comment about Jalen Hurts. He comes in less than a year and basically loses 2 games, one to K-State, go Cats, and then one to the number 1 team in the nation. So that's not a whole lot to be upset about, and considering he only been with the program for a year.
Yeah, no, and LSU's good. I mean, man, they are across the board. I saw a picture today of the LSU offensive linemen with their shirt off. I was like, our linemen didn't look like that. Those dudes were ripped. And we had some good offensive linemen come through here.
Oh, yeah.
But we got the body fat percentage ratio. I mean, those dudes weigh 330 pounds, and they got 8% body fat.
Yeah, they doing something.
Man, they're impressive. So, but LSU opens up as anywhere from a 3.5 to a 6.5 point favorite,
right?
Against Clemson, which is probably right where it should be.
Yeah, and I believe the game is played in Louisiana.
Man, that's got to be nice.
Talk about home field advantage.
No kidding.
But I think Clemson, the one advantage, well, not one, but one of the advantages in my eyes that Clemson has, they've been there before against another highly ranked team, Alabama, and they've won it, and they won big games under adversity. LSU they had some adversity early in the year against Texas early, but they kind of rolled through. And, Alabama game was a tough one. But outside of that, they haven't seen a whole lot of adversity. And I think the game against Ohio State for Clemson kind of showed the world that, hey, we're not the big-name team like everybody talks about. Our conference is weaker, which is the ACC in the most competitive league. But Clemson's a good team.
Yeah, I agree. I think that getting tested will help them this next week or in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Clemson getting tested and LSU kind of coasting. We might see LSU come out early in that first quarter and be a little lethargic.
Right.
And Clemson, hops up 14-0, 13-0, whatever, gets up a couple scores, and the next thing you know, they trade touchdowns for the rest of the game, and Clemson might find themselves in a 10-point win or two-score victory towards the end, and it all happened because of that first quarter.
Right.
They were able to jump out because they were in a tight ball game, and that's something they hadn't proven they've been able to do. Staying on refs, what was your opinion jumping to the second game, the Clemson game? What was your opinion on that ejection from the Ohio State defender?
It was tough. In real time, I thought he hit him. The point was, and some people were arguing that the fact that the quarterback kind of ducked his head. But if you look at it, he went to turn his head in slow motion, and the defensive back for Ohio State, he did lower his helmet. And the biggest point, I think, was it was the crown of his helmet that made contact. I think if we would have hit him with a shoulder pad, he wouldn't have got ejected. They would have looked at it. But by rule and how they've been calling it all year, it was the right call.
Yeah.
It was the right call. Was it unfortunate? Yes, because the play call was perfect timing. The quarterbacks appeared to be injured, had him rattle a little bit, and you could just feel the air go out of the Clemson team when they saw him down on the field. But it was a tough call. If I was a coach for Ohio State, I'd probably have been upset about it as well. Yeah. And he made a statement. He goes, I haven't seen the hit on video yet. I'll look at it when I get an opportunity. But if I was a coach, being in his shoes, after watching it, if roles were reversed, it was the right call.
Yeah, I think that's where I've settled. I think it was the right call by the rule book. I hate the rule. So yeah. I just think the rule is wrong. Yeah. I think they're trying to protect the players, and I don't know. That's just not fair. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just not fair. You can't take a man out of a game like that. He's worked his whole entire life to be in. Yeah, I'm with you.
I say give him the penalty, but if it's 2 times in a game, yeah, maybe sit him. But the first time, obviously, and it's such a fast, physical game, it's hard as a defensive player to stop your momentum and change your body positioning split second. It's not possible.
Oh, it's hard.
It's hard. And then when you get offensive players who lower their head to protect themselves or to run you over, it's hardly ever called.
Yeah.
It's hardly ever called. So it's tough, but you can't take a guy out of the game based on that. But based on the rule, it was the right call.
Yeah, and I saw some of the national analysts and some of the big national football guys on social media. I mean, even they were disagreeing. I mean, there'd be Joel Klatt thought it was the worst call in the world, and then Kirk Herbstreit thought it was a great call. So it's like 2 of the top guys in our industry were in disagreeing. So that's where I just think the rule needs – I get why the rule's there. I mean, it needed cleaned up. I mean, I look at some of these K-State highlight reels from the 90s. I'm like, man, did we ever actually kill anybody? Did anyone actually die on the football field during a K-State game? Because, I used to do it in middle school. And we used to headhunt.
Oh, yeah.
Turnovers where, you're looking back, licking your chops, trying to take someone's head off. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think there has to be – a line that you can draw, and you got to use some common sense in the replay booth. Was that intentional and dirty,
right,
or was that just a hard physical play where the guy came in a little high?
Exactly,
because we saw it in the OU game. That was a dirty play.
Yep.
That young man deserved to be ejected,
and it was the right call. I agree. Yeah, because the guy wasn't looking for the ball. The quarterback had the ball. He made a deliberate attempt to injure the player from LSU, and that was the right call.
Yeah.
It was dirty, like you said. It was dirty.
And by the way, took himself out of the play to not make the tackle and a big first down. So I was like, what are you doing, man?
Selfish, man.
Yeah. And so that's where I think the easiest solution to all this, I think, like you said, you got to have a targeting 1 and a targeting 2. Yeah. Targeting 1 is incidental. You just came in a little high. Maybe the defender lowered their head a little bit as well. So, and then targeting 2 is automatic ejection. And then if you get 2 targeting 1s in a game, you're gone. Kind of like the flagrant 1, flagrant 2 in basketball.
Exactly.
It's not. I know there's some really smart people up at the NCAA, but it's like, guys.
Golly, yeah, come on. Yeah.
This is, and I love the stat, too. I saw someone tweet out, I don't remember the exact numbers, but, we only get 11 games, 12 games in college. So it's like if you can only get 12 games, getting ejected is 8%.
It is.
7-8%. Yeah. And they're like, imagine if you're sliding into second base as a baseball player and you come in a little high and you accidentally punch the second baseman in the head with your hand. Or a basketball player, you go in for a hard foul and you catch someone's head with your elbow. And it's like, imagine if you got ejected for 11 games and they broke it down like percentage-wise. No, that would be you'd get ejected for 1 game in baseball or 1 game in basketball, but you play 100 of them.
Yep.
And so it's like that's 1% of your season, not a big deal. But football, man, that's like almost 10%. That's 8, 9, 10% of your season. That's crazy.
Huge. And especially if you get ejected the second half of a game.
Oh, I know.
Next game moving forward, man, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's half of a game. But and all joking aside, I would never encourage any of my players I've coached, and I know any guys that I've played with. But if you're really upset with the call, do with the guy from Eastern Michigan, the quarterback. He was a senior. He threw 2 punches at the ref and got kicked out.
Was that who that was? Yeah, I saw. I saw the highlight or whatever come across my.
And he actually played. I watched that game. He actually played a good game, but he was frustrated, and he knew he was done after that game. So he was like, you know what, I'm gonna let it go.
Shoot, funny high school story. So. The soccer team where I went to high school, Lake East, similar situation. They were in the playoffs, and they were getting, soccer, you're down 2-0 with 2 minutes left. Like, you're probably not going to come back. And, like, they just started an all-out brawl. Like, it was hilarious. Like, someone just punched a kid. And it's like, it's a senior. It's spring soccer. So, like, you already graduated. What are they going to do? And, yeah, they just decked. And it was the rival. I think it was Lake the East versus Blue Valley North, which, there were two big soccer schools, and they traded state championships. And it was, I don't know if it was for the state championship or to go to the state championship, but, yeah, it was hilarious. But one last questionable call. Which that's what the OU game had some questionable calls, but that was a blowout, so I don't think they really mattered. I don't think they really dictated the outcome of the game. But the Ohio State safety getting ejected, or defender, whoever that was, and then along with that Clemson catch/fumble where Ohio State returned it for a touchdown. Right. What are your thoughts on that?
Me being a defensive guy, initially watching it live, my first thought was incomplete. And then after watching it in slow motion, broken down, I was still sold on that it was incomplete. And it's not because, and it goes back to rules again, what they've been consistent with all year long. The young man made the catch, and he secured the ball, took one step, but he never turned upfield, dove, and going back to that football move rule, he lost control of the ball before he moved upfield. So at that point, it was considered incomplete, And it goes back to rules and the perception and how it's interpreted, and depends on the crew. But from my point of view, I think it was the right call.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the same thing with targeting. I think by the rule book, black and white, that was the correct call, but I disagree with the rule again.
Right.
So, in my opinion, this is what I think. He actually caught that ball. Mm-hmm. He took 3 steps, almost 4. Yeah. But because he was getting tackled, he was not able to make a football move because he was getting tackled. Exactly. So, therefore, if he's in space, if no one's on him, he makes a football move. Yep. But because he's getting tackled, which you could say kind of getting tackled is a football move, then he didn't have a chance to make a move. And therefore, he had that ball a long time.
It pretty much, the fact that he was getting tackled negated the fact that the defensive player caused the fumble after the catch. So, I'm with you. So, if you look at it, if you take the rules out of it, and I hate to say common sense, but if you look at it common sense-wise, it's a catch and a fumble. Yeah.
And here's the other caveat to that I disagree with and how things are starting to be called. So now it seems like referees, when there's a fumble type situation, they don't blow. They err on the side of not blowing the whistle. Right. And so they don't blow the whistle so they can see who recovers it and they can let the play out and then go back. Well, now they have to have enough evidence to overturn. Because they have to have, without a doubt, which they did in that situation. So it's like, you need to call it how you see it. Yeah. And then, because that needs to be the call on the field, and that needs to be the the benchmark of what we're trying to overturn. So it's a that one that was hard.
It was tough. Yeah, it was a game changer. And this I agree with you on that. And it was a game changer because both teams traded scores late, but Clemson took advantage of the opportunities when they got it. But one thing, watching the game, and as a defensive coach, I am not a fan. If we get somebody to 4th down, and if it's 4th and 7, I will bring heat on the punt block or on the punt team. But anything under 5 yards, I say go punt return or punt safe, because sure enough,
knuckleheads.
They sure enough, they stopped them. Ohio State did a great job of stopping them, and then. And it's normally reserved defensive backs, guys who don't play a whole lot, which I love it, the fact that they get opportunities to make plays on special teams. They're going hard, and they end up making a mistake. And like I said, a personal foul, roughing the kicker, give them a new set of downs, and Clemson takes advantage of it.
97-yard drive.
So it's kind of like, come on, guys. But that's what makes college football fun.
Yeah, that was I think they even said he was a backup cornerback, backup safety, something like that. But yeah, that was a huge play. And honestly, this is what kills me, and this is what kills you if you're an Ohio State fan. If that defender is not ejected, if that defender stays in the game, if that fumble goes the other direction, Ohio State wins.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Without a doubt. They had the momentum.
Yeah.
Ohio State outplayed Clemson the first 2 quarters, man. Clemson got some momentum late in the second quarter, but they outplayed them. They out physically.
Shoot, Venables got out-coached the first
exactly.
quarter.
They out-schemed them, everything. I was like, man, who is this Ohio State team? But they look good, and I honestly believe, Clemson won, but if Ohio State would have won, the championship game against LSU would have been just as exciting coming up. So either way, they both had great seasons. But I love college football, man. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, that was a fun game, especially after. Honestly, I didn't even really watch the second half of that OU game. No. I was like, I'm gonna go do something else in my life. I'm not gonna watch OU get embarrassed.
Yeah.
Which another funny story. So we're down at the farm for Christmas, which is we're about an hour south of Manhattan here. And we have antenna. We don't get cable. It's a long story, but it's out in the middle of nowhere, so there is no opportunity to get cable. There's no one provides it there. So you got to get Dish, and Dish sucks, and it's expensive.
Yep.
But finally, we got a smart TV down there.
There you go.
So we were able to hotspot my YouTube account, YouTube TV account through a phone, and we were able to get the games.
Nice.
Because it is tough. I mean, it's like all these games and usually, NFL is pretty easy. They're always on the antenna channels. But so for all you rural people listening, I feel your pain, man. It's a pain in the butt. It's super expensive to get. Just internet out in rural Kansas. So, but it was awesome. We got to watch it. But so honestly, that's why we turned the OU game off, because you're using up your data, and you only got so many gigs.
Game, yeah.
So you're like, I'm not going to waste my gigs on this data. So man, first world problems, running out of data while watching football.
The Tannahill and Spiller Powercat Podcast is sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. The Fridge is your source for all of your tailgate and party needs. The Powercat Podcast will be right back.
Is your January looking dry? Get some lotion. Get a humidifier. And better yet, get Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. With Drizzly, you can compare prices across local stores to get the best price on a huge selection of drinks perfect for dry January. Every single time. Non-alcoholic wines? Have a look. Ready-made mocktails? Grab a straw and order them up. Beer without the alcohol? Yep, take your pick. You can find all of them here, in the app. In that phone that's in your hand. Could it be any simpler? Nope, not a chance. So shop for great deals on all your dry January beverages or other drinks and get them delivered to your door or blanket fort, maybe. Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations. And don't forget to lotion up your elbows. They're looking a little dry.
My days working and taking care of my little ones can be a lot. I checked out care.com and it was so easy for me to find local, experienced, and background check sitters. Finding our babysitter was way more affordable than I thought.
Care.com makes it super easy. Search for qualified candidates. You can view their profiles, read reviews and ratings, check their availability, send messages directly, and get the help that you need. Care.com should be every person's go-to.
And now we return to the Tannahill and Spiller Powercat Podcast, sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor.
Well, 2 weeks will be the championship. That'll be an exciting ball game here on Tuesday night, though. We got our own Wildcats, which, for the record, I mean, Big 12's 0-3. 0-3
for now.
About to be 1-3.
Yeah, I think our Cats will show up and kind of get the Big 12 on the winning side of things. There's been a lot of pub about this game. Just the fact that it's a Navy K-State matchup. I saw where the Patriots.
What was that about?
I saw he flew Navy's team because Belichick's father was on staff at Navy, maybe. I'm not sure. At some point, I'm not sure if he's
But then they made a statement that, Navy paid for it?
Yeah,
so
I'm not,
Was that I sold it to you for $1 type of thing?
Exactly. I don't, and I could care less, I respect the fact that they want to do it for our military services. That's great.
Yeah, I could care less. That's cool.
Yeah, I care less. It's awesome. But I think K-State, I've been following social media, and I saw that. And for those of you who get upset, and I'm part of different pages on Facebook, on Twitter, different stuff, and somebody made the comment, "Oh, great, we're wearing all white." I love the all white uniforms.
Love it.
I love it. And then somebody go, "Oh, great, we're wearing all white. We're going to lose." And then a lot of people jumped on the individual and start replying. But guys, it's football. Have fun. Navy got some pretty cool uniforms. I guarantee they're not complaining about them. So let the kids have fun. And once we win, that uniform jinx things, you guys will see that it's nonsense. So, but no, I'm excited. I think who was a coach that used to be here for a year? He was defensive back coach. I saw that he is now Norwood, yeah. He's on staff at Navy, and that'd be fun. I know he probably knows a few of the kids.
Gene's got some ties.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm excited. It seems like we're traveling well. I'm seeing people post on Facebook, on Instagram.
Yeah, I have as well.
Yeah,
I've been pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I'm excited. But I think, not being biased, I think it's going to be a physical game, but I truly believe our skilled players, one-on-one, offensive-wise, are going to take advantage of some of the defensive backs because they are made to stop the run. We'll still run the ball well, I believe, but I think over time that we'll kind of outspeed them and out-savvy them with some of our skill guys. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, I was watching – who did Air Force play? Did you watch that game today?
Washington State.
Yeah, Washington State. Air Force, Washington State. I was watching that game because obviously a similar offense. And prior to watching that game, I was pretty confident. After watching that game, now I'm scared. Yeah, because Air Force executed. That looked really hard to stop.
Air Force One's a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit
Navy.
Caveat. But.
Yeah, but and they throw a lot more than Navy does as well. But on the flip side too, Washington State's defense isn't nearly as good as K-State's defense.
Yeah, they can care less about playing defense up there.
Exactly, and I'm with you on that. But I'm concerned because they got pride and they play hard and they got a winning record for a reason, and they're in the bowl game for a reason. So I wouldn't say I'm afraid, but I know it's going to be a competitive game. But I believe we have more depth. I believe that we have more schemes that they have to cover and tend to. And I think the fact that our guys are excited to be there, not mad about, we should have been somewhere else. I think our kids are truly happy to be there, and they want to send a message to the rest of the world that, hey, we deserve better, and we're getting better. So,
I don't think these kids. I think these kids are excited to be there. Yeah. And one, I think they missed out last year. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these kids, if you're a 2-year JUCO kid, this is your first opportunity to be first and only. So, no, I don't think these guys are coming in entitled or, we're too good for this bowl game. I just think they're excited to be there. I mean, they know how hard it is to win 6 bowl games and become bowl eligible. So they're excited to be there. I think I have been surprised at how many K-Staters are going down.
Yeah. I'm kind of mad now that I'm not going.
Shoot. Yeah, it's not too late, man.
I know.
It's not too late.
I've had a couple people offer me to jump in with them, but, it's New Year, and the more I talk about it, the more excited I get. It's New Year's Eve. It's in Memphis, Beale Street, all kind of live music, good barbecue, good food, good people, and I'm expecting a K-State victory. So I can only imagine what that environment would be like downtown Memphis on New Year's Eve after a big K-State.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And side note, Manhattan's it's fun as a college kid for New Year's, but like for us adults, like we're trying to think of stuff to do. I was like, you want to go to like Applebee's? Like,
I know. there are a few places around town that are having like events where you can get dressed up and kind of but and normally it's so cold and I'm like, do I really want to
my wife was
out?
like, you want to go to Aggieville and watch the ball drop? I looked at the weather, it was like 18. I was like
no.
I'm good.
So I'm with you on that. I'm with
but it'll be fun, and I think I think the players are up for it, and I hope the audience understand. Like, bowl games are kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because, like, bowl games are literally, like, a lot of times, pretty evenly matched teams usually. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of teams and a lot of players that just don't care. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of guys that are checked out. They're trying not to get hurt. Yep. And it's always, there's always, like, there's agents hanging around the hotel waiting to talk to you after the game. And there's guys that are checked out and guys that are more worried about making money than they are about winning bowl games, which – not right or wrong. I'm not criticizing those guys. I mean, if my kid's a first-round draft pick and I'm playing in the Liberty Bowl, I might be telling him to sit out. So, if he's got millions of bucks, if he just stays healthy.
Exactly.
So, not being critical about anyone, but it's just an awkward.
It is.
I mean, it counts, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so it's but I think this K-State team cares. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is I think this K-State team cares. There's a lot of guys that want to win this game. There's a lot of guys that because we got chose for the Liberty Bowl, they do have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think they should, because we deserve better, and not knocking the Liberty Bowl by any means, because if you think about it, it's a New Year's Eve game. It's a great town. We have a more than worthy opponent, and it has a great history. You know, it's one of those things where K-State, normally in the past, whenever we go to a bowl game for the first time, or we go somewhere where we do have a history, they remember K-State, and they remember the fans, and they remember the team, and they remember how well behaved the kids are, and they remember how hard they play. So we like to keep that reputation going no matter what. But I'm excited for the Cats. I think we do come out victorious. I'm not saying we're going to blow them out by any means, but I think it's going to be a good game for us to finish the season on going into next year. And I saw a bunch of the recruits have been commenting about they're excited to watch the Cats play in the bowl game as well. So, yeah, it should be good.
Yep, onward and upward. And I'm curious to see, for this Coach Kleiman staff, I mean, new territory.
Yeah.
Obviously, FCS versus FBS, they're used to playing a playoff-type situation. That is one thing I'd like to see the Bowls do. I mean, I'm a little tired of going to the Liberty Bowl. I'm a little tired of going to the Texas Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm a little tired about going to the Cotton Bowl.
Mix it up.
It's like, let's rotate these every 3 to 4 years so you can, mix up some new conferences and, just go to new places. Like, I'm tired of going to Texas and Arizona.
Yeah, I get it. And I get the weather's better. I get the fact that they have the bigger stadiums and a lot of the sponsorships are based out of there. But you can make it happen. It's one of those things where, don't get me wrong, we're not getting greedy. I don't want to go to Idaho for a bowl game.
Potato Bowl. Isn't there a Potato Bowl up there or something?
Like the Potato Bowl or something like that. But there's so many locations across the country where you can find different bowl scenarios and mix up a different fan base for a change. You don't have to be, like I said, it can be every 4 years is more than enough. And I also wish that we can go in the playoff system to 8 teams rather than 4. I think that could be done. Financially, will it happen? I don't know. Is it possible? Most definitely it's possible, but the right people with the right amount of money have to make it happen. So
yeah, the one argument against that I've seen come out this week is there hasn't the 1 versus 4 ball game, which we saw OU versus LSU, has not been very competitive.
No, you're right.
And so it's like we can't even find 4 teams
to compete.
Yeah. Why are we trying to open this up to 8? So that's kind of. I mean, I'd love to see it 8 just for that's one more week of college football. But
gotcha.
Real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. But favorite bowl game memory?
Oh man, actual game
or anything travel. On the team playing, whatever.
I give you 2. Okay. Actual game probably was the Fiesta Bowl my senior year. We ended up 11-1. We played Syracuse. Donovan McNabb was a quarterback. And we finished top 10. I can't remember what our ranking was. But that was my senior year. It was New Year's Eve in Arizona. And we pretty much got physical with Syracuse. They were kind of running their mouths all week long in outings and different gatherings that we have. And then before the game, a lot of people didn't see it but on TV. But before the game, we were warming up, and some of their players decided to run through our warm-up as far as D-backs. And we had a bunch of guys who had attitudes, is a good way to put it.
In a good way.
In a good way, and they weren't having it. So that kind of set the tone right then. Mike Bishop was our quarterback. We had a bunch of other guys on both sides of the ball that was just nasty guys on offense and defense, and they found out real quick how we were. So that was a fun game to finish out my K-State career. As far as location, probably the Holiday Bowl. In San Diego, it was when I was a younger player. Andre Coleman, who is now with Texas, had just recently signed with the Chargers. And he was out in San Diego, and he met up with some of the players and took us out, and we hung out with him for a little bit. So it was kind of cool to see the city through the eyes of an NFL player at the time.
So
it was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, mine also has to do with Syracuse. up at Pinstripe Bowl, so my sophomore year, that would have been 2010, I believe.
Right.
We're excited. K-State missed a bowl game the year before. We're not super, Pinstripe, the inaugural Pinstripe Bowl, which was a total disaster. There were lots of, got like 3 feet of snow. The city was a mess. So
I remember that.
Anywho, we're, I don't remember what night it was, second, third night. We had to be back at like midnight or whatever. On the way back, I see a little hot dog cart, and I'm like, oh, New York City hot dog. That's kind of cool. Let me get a hot dog. So I get a hot dog, and I'm sure this guy on the corner saw his tourist written all over me, and he slid me the hot dog from like 4 days ago.
Oh man,
that he hadn't been able to get rid of because it's been in a snowstorm. So he slid me the 4-day-old hot dog that's been in the warmer. So about 2 a.m., I'm sound asleep, and we have a little bit of food poisoning issues, projectile vomit all over my roommate's bed. Andre McDonald, who was actually great in the situation. He got Matt and Mindy, the trainers, and got up there to give me some fluids and whatnot. And I missed practice the next day. We had practice early in the morning the next day, I think 9 or whatever, and just from being dehydrated and throwing up all night. And I still, to this day, I mean, I'll swear on, I'll do whatever you need to promise you that story is real. But to this day, I think Coach Snyder thinks I was out partying.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I'm convinced he thinks I was out partying the night before, which, I mean, I never drank during season. So
yeah.
It's like, and I was a sophomore. I think I was like 20.
Right.
And so it's like, Coach, I promise, I just ate a bad hot dog. So that's by far my favorite bowl. And it just kind of, put a cap on the whole. It was just kind of a cluster the whole week, and we lost on a bad call. And it was lots of snow. Like one of the practices got canceled because there was too much snow. And you don't know Coach Snyder. Like practice does not get canceled. Yeah,
exactly. Had to be bad.
Like, what do you mean the buses can't get there? Like, go get the snowplow drivers. But then, no, that was the issue. The snowplow drivers and everyone was on strike.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
Are you serious?
Like the whole city was shut down. Like there was sewage on, there were trash bags on the side of the road.
Wow.
So everyone was on strike and you couldn't get anywhere, and it was a bad bowl game and it was cold, but it was fun. We thought it was fun, and then we went to the Cotton Bowl the next year and we're like, oh,
this is
the
how it's
Cotton Bowl. This is how it's supposed to be.
This is big time, yes.
Yeah. So that's and then I went over 3 in bowl games, so I got no good bowl game stories.
Well, maybe you shouldn't go to Memphis then.
Shoot, I know.
Nah.
But
no, man, I'm excited. Hopefully those of you out there listening, if you are traveling, cheer loud, be safe. We look forward to the Cats getting a victory and then coming back. It's one of those things where the season seems to get here so much quicker when we end on a positive note with a bowl win, as we have so far this year. And it's kind of fun to look back and see how well this staff has done. There's a lot of question marks coming in, but I'm proud of the coaches. I'm proud of the kids. I'm proud of the fan base. So it's been a great season. Hopefully we can finish off on the right note.
Yeah, I agree with all those sentiments. For sure, everyone drive safe. Drive or fly safe. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time on New Year's Eve cheering on the Cats. And two, it's been a fun year. It's been a really fun year. There's been some ups and downs.
Yeah.
There's been some heartaches. There's been some giant celebrations beating OU, man. That was a fun one.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm really kind of what we've always said, man. I'm just excited to see where this program's headed. I'm excited at what the staff has been able to do in a short time. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to look back in 2, 3, 5, 10 years and just be like, man, we got ourselves a good one, and we just love what this team is doing. So with that being said, anything else? Y'all good?
I'm good. I know. I'm not big on New Year's resolutions, but I
gotta lose 30 pounds.
I'm happy with my weight right now. I'm gonna get a little bit stronger, just kind of maintain. The older I get, the harder it gets. But those out there who do have New Year's resolutions, try to stick to them. And take care. And like Trav always says, man, go Cats.
Yeah, go Cats. And that's what I'll piggyback off that. I listened to a leadership motivational guy the other day, and with New Year's resolutions, and you're not trying to lose weight day 1. You're not trying to lose weight day 10. You're trying to build a habit. Right. So even if you just got to go to the gym, he said he would go to the gym, sit in the parking lot, and listen to the radio, and then drive home. But he got his butt out of bed at 5 in the morning, and some days he wouldn't even go in the gym, but he was building that habit that every morning I get up at 5 and I go to the gym.
God.
And so just remember, if you get to the gym one day and you just want to walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes, you go right ahead.
It's a process.
You go right ahead. Just build those habits, build those good habits. Taking a playbook out of Coach Snyder, just get a little bit better every single day.
Right on.
So with that, travel safe. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Go Cats and Chiefs.
You've been listening to the Tannahill and Spiller Powercat Podcast, presented by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.
With Blue Link Plus, you can access your Hyundai Tucson Limited remotely. Doors unlocked, temperature set, lost car found.
There it is.
Get complimentary class-leading Blue Link Plus. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.